Morning guys, it's Dim here. It's been a little while since I've made one of these vlogs, but I thought it might be nice. I'm just out here in my new home in Bali. I never thought that I'd become a Bali influencer like these other self-righteous people well, that's pretty much how I perceive them anyway. Hopefully I can do this with some humility and a lack of self-righteousness, because for me, it is a very, very healing place. It's not a place where you can live in a delusion, where I do feel like a lot of people do live in a delusion because everything is cheap and people treat you really well. It's tempting to lose your grounding of reality, I would say. And I think, being 36 now, I have been that self-righteous person before. And hopefully this time, being here, I'm doing this with some humility. But anyway, the reason I wanted to share this vlog, to catch you up, and maybe I'll do this in a separate video, but to catch you up, I moved from Sydney. I packed up my bags and moved from Sydney, and I do believe I shared that in my previous video, about my intention, and it's been 2.5 months now, and to be honest, most of it has been just about really locking in and going hard with business. I'm look, I have a beautiful gym, and I use the gym for mental health just as much as I use the gym for whatever, looking good. You use it to feel good, you use it for mental health. So I have the gym, but mostly, I have the place that I live, and I have the different places that I work, and there's a gorgeous sense of community. But my priority is work first and foremost, because that's where the money comes from to do everything else and to build the future. So that's what I've been doing, and that's why I've been a bit silent here for the last 2.5 months. But hopefully, when I do come back, it's I don't come back with noise. I come back with actual nuggets of wisdom that may help you on your journey. And I'd like to share one of those with you today. And it's a conversation that I had recently with a business coach that I'm working with. And effectively what happened is that I came into this program, it's $18,000, to be in this person's program. Anyway, I don't even charge half that much. For my expensive stuff, I don't even charge half that much. Anyway, so it's $18,000, and I kind of I'm in there, and in my perception, I was not getting the value that I paid for, and the support that I paid for. And so what happened was, I raised the flag, and I said I'm not really happy about this, and rather I think either I want out of this program, or I want a different, client success manager, basically, is what I said. And what they did was they put me on the phone with basically this elite client success manager, who's actually the reason that I joined. It was his testimonial, which was the reason that I joined in the first place. And I spoke to him, and he shared with me a few things that I just found confronting, but it's really helpful, and I like to share that. And basically, look, for context, I think I'm very candid in these videos, so I think I would have said this in another video, but first time I made $40,000 in a month was back in October 2023. And now it's October 2025. And so I have had, for sure, other months which were big like this, but I'm just being very candid. I've definitely struggled with making it consistent. Sometimes you can have 3 months of 25,000, whatever, 18,000, 25,000, 35,000, 40,000, 42,000, 30,000, 25, and then but then 5,000, and it just is real up and down. And having said that, like, I'm not trying to sound big with these numbers, because it's all a perspective. Like, and look, man, it's different. Like when you're in corporate, and let's say in corporate you're making $5,000 a month, or $10,000 a month. Like the difference is, like, you're not usually not thinking about that job all the time, and it's not where your food comes from and your livelihood comes from, and you have some level of stability, and that stability gives you freedom in other ways. And I don't think anyone really is real enough to talk about that, like, because people are selling this idea of having a business and that gives you freedom, but you have freedom in one form, but you have constraints in another form, whereas like with a corporate job or whatever, you have constraints in one form, but you have freedom in terms of just like mental freedom, and freedom from stress, and the ability to take holidays and know that you don't have to fucking worry about money, and you can come back, and you have a job for you, and you have stability, and you can actually build like a future with that stability, whereas when you don't have stability, like with, in my case, when you have a business, until you get that stability, you're not real, and and that stability is an illusion in a lot of ways, because you are like, I've got friends who make $5 million a year, and it's like, you're in a different phase, and you're doing different things with life, and you're usually making different moves with life, and then that concept of like instability can still be there, unless I have different ways of dealing with it, which I can share. But anyway, so basically I spoke to this mentor, and I told him my issues with the program, and he shared some stuff that I felt like really, really helped me. And basically what he said was, he said, look, man, the teacher and the student together create the teaching. It wasn't what he said, it was what I realized because of what he said that made all the difference. This is what he's saying to me. And basically what he was saying was, Dim, look, we've got this program set up for you, but like, you have to, like, it's not going to be handed to you on a silver platter. Nothing is. If any program could just give you the result on a silver platter, like, everyone would be doing it. He's like, basically, Dim, no business coaching program can solve your business for you. No one can. That's why you get paid the big bucks. To put up with the stress, to put up with the uncertainty and solve these problems. But no one can solve the problem for you. It's you. And all these containers are facilitators to give you a safe container with guide rails to prompt your creative thought to happen and give you a sounding board. But it only works if you work it. It works in proportion to how much you work it. And it's so fucking funny, man, because I literally like talk to my own clients about this stuff. Like, I'm like, I say to my clients, look, I will hold your hand every step of the way, but I cannot make this work for you. And when he was talking, I actually felt this overwhelming rush of gratitude to my clients, because I realized, like, yeah, like my clients really put in the work, even though, and it's very fulfilling because they're putting in the work. I'm able to step in, give them the conversations, give them the right guidance, steer them, and I feel like I do a really exceptional job of guiding them and steering them. But at the end of the day, like, it is a synergy that is created between myself and my clients that creates the magic. It only works if they work it. It sounds really simple, but it's so funny, like, how sometimes you can't. For me, it felt like a new level, like, because I feel like I am someone who strives to take extreme ownership, strives to take responsibility. I really believe in that. But he was like, dude, you've got to take a new level of, like, and he made me feel like a spider really digging in deep into every aspect of my business, or in this case my business, because that's what I'm trying to build, right? And it really made me feel like, man, like if I'm going to make this work, like I've got to really dig my tentacles deep into every aspect. Like don't be afraid of anything technical, don't be afraid of the weeds, like really don't be afraid of any of it, like just get in there. And if you're going to make it work, you can't be blaming anyone else, you can't just be delegating it off and expecting that someone else is going to handle it for you. It's so funny, like see, one of my team members is an assistant coach, one of my team members is a design person, and in both of their cases I feel like I'm a really good boss, but I feel like we do exceptional work together because I'm like such a fucking good coach that when I'm with my assistant coach, I'm able to have very, very, very deep, very high fidelity, very high caliber conversations with her and create magic with her in terms of new products, in terms of best ways to help customers, in terms of just like every customer we have like a strategy and a plan for, and we check in on every single week, and I feel like we just do an exceptionally deep job of looking after them. But that's only because I created that depth within myself before I hired her to help me. In the same way, like with my design goal, I actually love design. Like I love drawing. Like I've loved to draw since I was very young. I loved to draw since I was like, could pick up a pen. And so I work with her at a very deep level, and like I'm able to give like, millimeter different of shifts, and it's very like my mastery in that area. Like even though she's better at design than me overall, like she's incredible and she brings a different energy and style than I do, which is amazing. So does my assistant coach. Because of my level of mastery in that area, I'm able to do super well, work with her, in a really well way. And when I think of employees that I've hired and I've not done well with, ironically, it's like I was shit in that area myself, and I hired them thinking that I can learn from them. But I realized that until I just take full responsibility for every aspect of my business and really dig in deep and get fucking good, like it's almost like my staff are only as good as I can be, at least in this stage of the journey. Because I've heard the conflicting piece of advice that no, you want to hire people that are better than you, so that you can learn from them. But I think that it seems to me like you do need a level of mastery in that area so that you can make the most of it. And when I think of Tony Robbins, like he interviews all these amazing people, he says that he has the best interviews with people, like as a researcher, because he does incredible deep levels of research before he goes into an interview with that person, so that he can have a very deep conversation instead of a surface conversation and just ask surface questions. And for me, it actually overall feels like a huge identity upgrade is happening right now, and that's why I wanted to record this video in real time. And for me, it's about like letting go of who I have been, and letting go of trying to hit a goal of say $40,000 a month, $40,000 a month, consistently. Letting go of trying and actually being the person that, this is what we do. This is what we do. We do $500,000 a year consistently. This is what we do. And we do it because every aspect, we've just not fucked around in any aspect of what we're doing. We're playing full out. We're putting the tentacles in deep into every aspect, and we're bringing light. We're bringing light to every aspect, into the accounting, into the sales system, into the CRM, into the marketing, into the delivery. Like we're bringing light into those areas. We're not leaving things in the shadows. We're not cutting corners. Like we're literally like shining the flashlight on every corner, and making sure that it is strong and done well and polished. We're not trying to cut corners. And for me, like, that's a different mentality from, initially just bootstrapping things together. It's actually like, yo, we're playing full out everything. And I like kind of have this feeling after I spoke to that guy yesterday, the coach yesterday. His name's Andrew Chan. After I spoke to him, I just kind of like, like prayed, and I just said, other than my parents and my family, I'm giving everything to this. Everything to this. I commit to giving everything to this. Other than my parents and my family, like, which is my soul, other than selling my soul, I'm giving everything to this. Everything. And just wanting to bring light to every single area. Instead of just fucking, like, now when you look at it from another lens, it's like, was I being lazy? Like, was I just trying to blame and just expect this program to work for me? Or was I, or am I looking to just, no, it's on me. It's on me. This program is just a conduit or an external sounding board, but it's on me. And it's never going to be on anyone else. It's going to be on me. So anyway, I hope this video maybe prompted some thoughts in you or gave you some kind of inspiration. Hopefully you can see this is like off the top of the dome, this is real. And like when he basically called me out for being a victim and blaming the fucking program, and not taking enough responsibility, like I just, it made me emotional, because I'm like, fuck man, I feel like I fucking give everything. But at the same time, it made me emotional, because I think I was like, he's right there. Like, he knows me. He's had a similar journey to me. He too has spent like $250,000 doing different programs and learning different things. So it's not like he just read me like a book, because I think there was so much relatability between he and I. And when he shared this conclusion, it really, no, more than that, it just really felt resonant to me too. I think that's why it made me emotional. And he commended me on my humility. And it's beautiful, because like that's what, one of my best friends, Luke Hawkins, he says, like, and I commend people in their humility, like I really do, my clients. Like, we have like these really hard, like, confronting conversations, and I see how humble the boys are, and I think it's fucking impressive, man, and yeah, Luke Hawkins, my best friend, like, he goes, Dim, like it, any of our growth, self-growth happens, our self-growth and our self-mastery happens in direct proportion to how self-honest we can be. Our self-growth and self-mastery happens in direct proportion to how self-honest we can be. So, when he shared that, like, fuck, it just really cut me deep. And, it's like the hardest thing to do, to be self-honest, to, admit things and hear things you don't want to hear. And fucking be humble, like, it seems like a very special place to be. And, that's why, so I loved what Andrew Chan said, like, the teacher and the student together create the teaching. It's both of them putting the effort in together. And it's funny, it's like a lesson that, you feel you already learn, you already know, but it takes someone sometimes to call out your own blind spot. So, again, this is me just being real. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it helped you in some way. Love you so much. Hopefully I'll get to do more of these soon. I'd love to. Hope you enjoy. Okay, see you next time.